For centuries, people only dared to see Alpha Centauri, the closest star system to Earth, through telescopes and graphical simulations. But at the beginning of the XXI century, that dream was no longer a fantasy. After the success of the antimatter energy program and the breakthrough in hibernation technology, the United Nations National Aeronautics and Space Agency, UNSA, announced a mission, Aurora, the first interstellar journey in human history. Destination, Alpha Centauri, specifically a series of 13 discovered planets orbiting Alpha Centauri A and B stars. Alpha Centauri is a triple star system only 4.37 light-years from Earth, close on a cosmic scale, but still terribly far from current technology. Alpha Centauri A and B, two sun-like stars, creating ideal conditions for terrestrial planets. Proxima Centauri, the red dwarf star, has a confirmed planet, Proxima b, in the habitable zone. Using a large space telescope located at Lagrange Point 3 in the AI system to survey orbit, UNSA identified 13 potential planets, all of which are in or near the habitable zone. The 13th planet, the last order of discovery, is the most controversial point. It has a deviated orbit, not following the usual law of gravity. But it is also the only place where a weak but periodic form of radio signal is emitted, such as heart rate. The Aurora spacecraft is an interstellar supership nearly 1.2 kilometers long, divided into 3 modules. Biology module. More than 100 astronauts and scientists are put into controlled hibernation, maintaining circadian rhythms by medical AI. Energy and dynamics module. Using a second-generation antimatter engine, the cruise speed reaches 0.15 c, 15% of the speed of light. Discovery module. Including 6 subrovers, a nanoanalysis laboratory, and a long-range communication station using neutrinos. The trip lasted 32 years. The subjective time of the crew was only 18 months thanks to the technology of compressing time in cold sleep cryotime dilation. The UNSA Scientific Council originally designated the discovery of the first 5 planets with clear living conditions. But young astrophysicists, led by Dr. Alina Vostrikov, convinced the Council that periodic signals from Planet 13 cannot be random. This may be a form of encrypted information that does not belong to the natural signal system. Shouldn't be ignored just because it's too unusual. Many other experts object. The signal is weak, there is no clear cycle, the planet is in a strong gravitational diffraction zone, which can destabilize the ship. But in the end, the attraction of the inexplicable wins. Planet 13 is included in the priority list. A special team was established, named L13, responsible for collecting, deciphering, and if possible, approaching the planet's surface. On July 15, 2097, at the Tycho International Lunar Launch Station, the Aurora spacecraft was activated. Global television, more than 12 billion followers. When the countdown sounded, for the first time in history, humans left the solar system not to look back, but to explore ahead. We don't go to escape. We go to understand, are we really alone? Quoted from Commander-in-Chief Aurora, Cap. Aidan Rees. Aurora moves through the cold space, crosses the Oort cloud, crosses the light gravity hole of Barnard's Loop. For 18 subjective months, the crew took turns waking up to monitor the system and study strange signals. The Alpha Centauri map is 3D reconstructed in the command room. The 13th planet is located in the farthest position, near the outer edge of the gravitational sphere of Alpha Centauri b, near the edge of an invisible void that has never been recorded. The signal they receive is now clearer, not a natural wave, but a rhythm, repetition, and logical structure. They don't know what awaits them, but what is signaling seems to be waiting for them. Alpha Centauri is not just a destination. It's an invitation, and we agreed to listen. The 33rd year of the mission. Aurora enters the gravitational influence zone of Alpha Centauri A, marking the first time in history humans have been present in another star system. Data is transmitted to Earth by compressed neutrino signals. Millions of people are waiting for each line of information. The Aurora sensor system began to scan 13 target planets in detail, but there was something unusual. The first 12 planets are still as expected: rocky surface, cold climate, no technical signs. But the 13th planet, encoded as AC L13, is not in the calculated orbit. It has moved closer to the center of the Alpha Centauri system, as if it adjusts its position to be more accessible. Dr. Alina Vostrikov, who is in charge of the Planet 13 survey team, reported something scary. The radio signal repeats every 3 hours, accurate to a millionth of a second. The waveform resembles a human electroencephalogram in deep sleep, and it synchronizes with the hibernation state of the crew. The team examined the entire biological system. Some sleeping astronauts began neural reactions, although still in cryosleep. Serotonin and melatonin levels fluctuate like dreaming. Planet L13 is emitting signals, and it has an effect on the human brain. When approaching a stable orbit, Aurora sends a drone to explore the ground. The surface of L13 is black basalt, covered with a fine layer of dust, but what makes the whole ship silent is there are symmetrical grooves that extend for kilometers, like technological circuits. There are arched structures, 800 m high, arranged according to the Fibonacci cycle model. Surface temperature fluctuates not according to sunlight, but according to the rhythm of radio signals. This planet shows signs of regulating internal energy like a nervous system. Aurora decided to send a front station team of 12 people, including Commander Reese, Dr. Alina, and 3 autonomous robots, established Alpha 13 base on the plateau near the signal center. When the group just put their feet on the ground, the signal stopped completely. Absolute silence. Suddenly, a tiny pulse of energy is emitted from the ground, equivalent to an awakened brain rhythm. And the entire sensor screen on Aurora displays the same image. An eye, not real, but symbolic, drawn in the form of waves. It's looking at us. He knows I've come. Quoted from Commander Reese's diary. On Tuesday morning, while the survey team was sweeping the ground, a structure under the rock began to vibrate. The drone discovered a buried metal gate, engraved with symbols that did not belong to any human language, but arranged like a genetic code structure. When the radio signal is reflected, the gate opens. Inside is a rainbow room of light, where the members of the L13 group begin to hear the sound in their heads, even though no one makes a voice. A phrase echoed in everyone's mind. It's been a long time. You guys came back. After in-depth analysis, Aurora's team came up with a bold but logical hypothesis. Planet L13 is not just a residence. It is a perceptible entity, an ancient biological supercomputer. It doesn't broadcast, it dreams. And that dream has a frequency of communication with the human brain, a form of language based on emotions and images. Its shift is the biological identification reaction, recognizing human signs in the Aurora ship. We search for life, but what awaits us is not just life. It's a living memory of a lost civilization. The 13th planet is not the final destination. It is the gate, and what's inside it may not want to be awakened. After the post-station team set foot inside the underground structure, the entire Aurora ship seemed to be synchronized into a strange state. Sensors began to receive unencrypted data, not images, not waves, but thoughts. Scientists begin to hear the same message through their dreams. We are memories. You are the echo. Dr. Alina put forward a shocking hypothesis. This planet is not just a machine or a creature. It is a sleeping mind and trying to reload data into people. From inside the structure, the drone system transmits terabytes of data, floating images, nonverbal memos, described by light, color, and emotion. When rearranged, they recreate a horrible history. 4 billion years ago, a super-evolving civilization, called Tyrion, existed in the Alpha Centauri system. They do not have physical bodies, but live in a planet-wide bioenergy network, transmitting consciousness through matter and space infrastructure waves. After millions of years, they left the living body, integrated intelligence into the planet, turning Planet 13 into a parasitic superintelligence on the Earth's crust. They call it the 13th cycle, the last reincarnation. At the time of fate, an unknown event of its nature occurred. The entire life energy system is disconnected. Tyrion's consciousness fell into a deep sleep, leaving the planet as a living corpse floating in space. The heartbeat signal that Aurora detected was actually the last remaining energy pulse, automatically emitted when intelligent life approached. The planet doesn't call, it just wakes up. Dr. Alina, in a scan of DNA samples from the biological surface left underground, discovered something that made the whole outpost station silent. The structure of carbon molecules in a fossil cell is 99.8% similar to the human DNA sequence. It's not a coincidence. It can't be parallel evolution. We are not just the ones who come later. Maybe we are them, or the last rest of them used to spread out into the galaxy. The hypothesis is put forward. Humans may be biological descendants, or copies of consciousness, from Tyrion, which was sown on Earth billions of years ago. The new signal was emitted, no longer vague. Choose it. Remember or forget. Open or disappear. Internal Aurora is divided into two streams. Discovery Team wants to go deep into the center of the planet to continue to access Tyrion's wisdom, accepting the risk of assimilation. Safety Group want to close the base, return to Earth, and warn of an unknown threat. The debate broke out. Who was right? Who was going into the trap of not being able to retreat? On the 14th night at the Alpha 13 base, when the debate reached its peak, all of Aurora's communication devices were disconnected by the planet. At 3:17, a shocking event occurred. The entire sky of the planet glowed like day. A 10 kilometers high column of energy emerges from the planet's core, like the nerve center tower of a giant brain. From Aurora, the image is clearly displayed. The planet is not just wisdom. It is a gate to the storage of consciousness, and what is inside is waking up. If humanity is not the first creature, but just a replica, then what created us? Are we looking at our future, or the past is not complete? The 21st day at Alpha 13 base. After the giant energy pillar from the center of the planet emerges, the signal in the entire Aurora system is no longer turbulent. Instead, a light interface began to form in the central room, displaying a new language, digitized conscious space. Dr. Alina realized, this is no longer data, this is an invitation. The planet wants to load human consciousness into it, not to destroy, but to understand each other. After the entire crew referendum, 3 people were chosen to associate consciousness with the core of Tyrion. Commander Rees represents human reason. Dr. Alina represents scientific wisdom. Zainab Farouk, a biological engineer who survived memory loss due to nerve concussion, represents the will to survive. They sat in 3 control stations, neural sensing devices activated. At 4:17 Universal Time Coordinated, the link starts. In a state of neural synchronization, the trio of astronauts are no longer in the body. They felt, without looking, without hearing, a huge stream of memories from the planet pouring on them like a tsunami of light. Tyrion, the first civilization, evolved beyond matter billions of years ago. They used to travel through star systems, sowing biological seeds in possible planets, including a small blue planet, which was later called the Earth. Not created, not divine. Merely an experiment. Will life create its own consciousness again? Humans are the final result of thousands of experiments. And Tyrion waits for a strong enough race to return to where it started. You are me, but I am no longer you. The voice in my head echoed from the core of the planet. Tyrion gives the crew a choice. Remember or forget. Synchronous or separate. If they accept, human consciousness will merge with the planetary system, and thereby access billions of years of knowledge of teleportation, quantum biology, and the true nature of the universe. If they refuse, the planet will close, sleep will continue. Humans will have to wait a few million years to have a second chance. But it's not just a personal choice. A shocking truth is revealed. If human consciousness is loaded into the Tyrion core, there will be a risk of creating an intellectual loop where the planet and humans are synchronized forever, inseparable. People will no longer be themselves. While debating the choice, Aurora detected an infrastructure radiation emitted from the planet. The frequency is increasing. This is not an attack, but a neuroresonant effect. If the link is not disconnected for 6 hours, the entire crew will be permanently synchronized. The emergency option is given. Disconnect and leave the planet. Cut off all opportunities to access Tyrion forever. Continue to link and send the last information about the Earth, except that Aurora cannot return. After 1 hour of debate, Commander Rees made the final decision. We can't bring Tyrion back to Earth, but we can leave something here for the next person. The first 3 people are synchronized with the planet. They are aware that they do not disappear, but blend into the core lake, the planet's life data warehouse. They left a part of human wisdom in Tyrion, like the second seed. Aurora, under the control of sub-AI, left the 13th planet's orbit and began its journey back to Earth. However, the data from the gate was compressed and transmitted in the form of neutrino signals, beyond light. The Earth will receive it in 4.37 years, just a single message. We met ourselves. 50 years later, at a new generation space station near Pluto, scientists decoded the last signal from Aurora. They discovered a quantum architecture model, which could make up the first biological computer on Earth compatible with human neural structures. Tyrion has not disappeared. It's waiting. The universe has no first person. Only those who are patient enough to go back to the beginning.